Call to order the Common Council meeting for Monday, December 15th, 2025. Roll call, please. Please reflect that a quorum is present and the lady from the 12th is excused. At this time, please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Can I have approval of the minutes of the meeting held November 18th, 19th, and the special Common Council budget meeting on the 19th?
So moved.
Any changes or corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I would like to call up the St. Joseph Catholic Academy Football Division 7 state champions to the podium, please. Well, I got to say, this is becoming a habit here in Kenosha. Last week we had some winners from Mahone, and this week we have proud to have the St. Joseph Catholic Academy Division state champion winners. I think in all the years, I think of all the things we have accomplished in this city, and we've accomplished a great deal. And I think probably one of the best things that we have accomplished, and Coach, I think you probably agree, is the development of some of this awesome young talent, the men and women who come to our schools, who put it all out on the field. As someone who watched that game very intently with a number of people, we were cheering really loud back here, and you guys are an absolute inspiration to us all. The way you guys just never gave up the whole season, the way you have shown how proud you are of your school, but how proud you are to represent Kenosha. Just know that we are extremely proud of you and the accomplishments that you have made to this point. I know there's much more. I know some of you are running off to other sports and other practices from here, so I appreciate you guys being here tonight. But you represent the best of Kenosha, and we're so proud of you guys and so proud of your accomplishments. I do have a commendation I would like to read and present to you. Whereas, on behalf of the city of Kenosha, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the St. Joseph Catholic Academy Lancers for a truly outstanding accomplishment, winning the 2025 WIA Division 7 State Football Championship. And whereas this historic victory, achieved by finishing an undefeated 14-0 season and prevailing 35-19 over Cochran Fountain City at Camp Randall Stadium, exemplifies excellence, perseverance, and teamwork at its finest. And whereas your team's spirit, discipline, and unity have not just earned a state title, but a legacy that will be remembered by the school, the community, and all who witnessed your journey. The role of coaches, staff, and supporters in guiding and enabling this success cannot be overstated. Your leadership and encouragement helped shape a championship culture, and one we hope to see back here again. And whereas winning a state championship demands more than athletic talent, it demands sacrifice, resilience, selflessness, and a shared vision. The Lancers embodied those values throughout every practice, every game, and every team huddle. Your commitment to each other, to the game, and to the community stands as a shining example to future generations. Now, therefore, I, David F. Bogdell, Mayor of the City of Kenosha, do hereby congratulate and commend the team members and the coaches of the Lancers 2025 Division State Football Champions for their hard work, commitment to the sport. May this championship be a milestone that inspire continued excellence, pride, and unity for all your future endeavors. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to, I'm Matt Rizzo, our head coach. I'd like to thank the mayor and the city council and our residents here today who applauded for us, and thank you for being here. I'm sure you guys came for this special occasion. But thank you very much. It's quite the honor. And I just want to highlight our guys here tonight. There's our 5 captains here tonight: Dante Williams, Berkeley Kuiper, Devin Brown, Zach Rizzo, and Sincere Williams. The commendation said it all. Just to quickly highlight it, there was a lot of hard work and dedication, of course. And this is truly a brotherhood. And the kids have been with us for a really long time. These guys have been playing together since middle school or earlier. And it's been about a 7-year process in the making. But we're very proud of our guys and their accomplishments. One thing we're probably proud of these guys the most is that our senior class, which the WIA recognizes for all-state academic honors, as well as our senior class was an academic all-state as well, of a compiled or cumulative 3.54 GPA as well as a senior class. So we're very proud of their academics as well, their service to the community, their citizenship, and how we look forward to them growing into great young men as they continue on their journey in education, higher education, to hopefully come back to Kenosha to serve us proud in their future endeavors. So thank you once again for having us. We appreciate it. God bless.
You sure?
Dante?
I just want to say thank you, guys.
Here, come right over here. Everybody wants to hear this. Come on.
I just want to say thank you. It's been a long time coming. We've put in a lot of work since we were young, and it's just great to see all the work pay off, and it's just a blessing. So,
I just want to say thank you as well, and in any future endeavors, if you guys ever see me on a job application or something, please hire me. Yeah.
Well, I think you got more than 17 people that be willing to sign off on that in this room here. So with that, I'd like to ask for a 5-minute recess for pictures. So moved. Moved in second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We stand in recess. 5 minutes having elapsed, we are back in session. I think. Okay.
Citizen comments. Dorothy Nolan.
Can we please have your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. Dorothy Nolan, 802 21st Avenue. We actually have a Kenosha address, but live in Summers. And my comments today are about the AI data center. I only recently became aware of the proposed Microsoft data center in Kenosha through a social media app called Nextdoor. What I'm learning from people I've talked to is that most of them either didn't know about the data center, or if they did know, they don't want it. While it is true that residents should try to be aware of what's happening in their cities, a countrywide reduction in newspapers and an overwhelming amount of issues to be concerned about can be difficult for many people to stay ahead of. One of the key concerns is the increased electricity costs based on feedback from communities that currently have AI data centers. A pattern seems to be developing that tech companies are getting special deals with the electric companies to minimize their costs, which forces the public to subsidize the increased demand. Wisconsin, has the second highest electric rates in the Midwest already. I'm also concerned about increased taxes, water usage, pollution, noise, decreased property values, diverse health effects, low employment once the building is done, and issues around technology advances that are likely to render these buildings obsolete within 10 years. There are many predictions of an AI bubble coming because tech companies are over-investing in data centers. Microsoft has not even completed the one in Mount Pleasant that is less than 10 miles away. While I realize that AI cannot be stopped at this point, it would seem prudent to slow down and have more clarity of the impact to the community. Although I'm in favor of progress and growth that benefits communities, projects like these require good stewardship from the tech companies, city officials, and involvement from the community, which does not seem to be happening with data centers to date. We need our city officials to look at these AI investments very cautiously with an eye towards the short and long-term impacts. In summary, I don't support unregulated artificial intelligence companies that could eliminate up to 100 million jobs in 10 years, use our precious limited resources, drive up electricity costs, and absorb tax breaks they don't need. Communities all over the country like Caledonia, Yorkville, and Menominee in Wisconsin are already starting to say no to data centers. Thanks for listening.
Jamie Burns.
Just need your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Jamie Burns, 7722 16th Ave. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with my face now. This is the third meeting that I've been to. And again, I'm here to express my outrage and my opposition to Microsoft building a AI data center here in Kenosha. You've received information. I could go on again about the concerns with water usage, energy usage, the lack of jobs that it will realistically create, potential pollution with noise, and on and on and on. But I'm going to go a little different track here today. I just want everybody to take one moment to just think about our history and what has happened to cities like Kenosha when we've just blindly relied on what a major company has told us and the promises they've made. Lead was, we've been using lead forever. It's part of the human history. Lead was known to cause severe health problems since the early 1920s, and yet we were slow to respond and slow to ban it. Kenosha is still struggling to remedy that situation. There are still many lead lines in the city that we're trying to replace. Houses still filled with lead paint. Another one, asbestos. We've known about asbestos and the dangers of asbestos for decades and decades, and yet still it was used until the early 2000s. My house, for example, still has asbestos in it, as does many other Kenosha houses. My point is that we don't have the excuse that we didn't know, like our ancestors did. The information was slow and it was hard to reach them, but we have the information. And so I'm asking each and every one of you to please just take a minute to really think about this and what thousands of Kenoshans are trying to say, even if they're not here. What millions of Wisconsinites are trying to say, and they might not be here. What millions of Americans are trying to push back against is that we are concerned. We're concerned for our health, and that maybe these companies don't have our best interest at heart. I want to take one more minute to just also go on about what I view a good leader. A good leader can take a minute and take a step back and say, you know what? I might not be right. I might have I might have rushed something. I might have been wrong. And that's okay. We all make mistakes. We all might not make the right choices. But what matters is what we do in the future, which is that we accept that maybe we weren't right, and we show with our actions to do the right thing, even if it's hard, especially when there's billions of dollars at stake. Thank you.
Luke Olson.
Hi there, Luke Olson, 7111 48th Ave. I'm a born and raised Kenoshan, and I'm here today to ask our community leadership to rethink and reconsider allowing Microsoft to build the AI data center that has been approved. AI stands for artificial intelligence. Artificial is the key word here. Artificial means it's made by humans and it's not naturally occurring. And I think that's very important because when we're talking about the data centers, we're talking about disrupting the natural environment and the well-being of those who live around it. As of now, the Microsoft data center has not been built. So there's a sliver of hope that the leadership that represents this community can give this a proper second thought. Anyone who has been paying attention can see that towns all across America are unanimously fighting these data centers coming into their town. Kenosha is a beautiful town with unlimited potential, and I believe that we deserve all the good in the world. And I don't think an AI data center is the answer. Thank you.
Samantha, last name starts with a D.
Samantha Dukas. Thank you. You need my address? 1129 North Marshall Street, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm not from Kenosha, but I have been privileged enough to go across the state helping local residents at a variety of municipalities across Wisconsin inform, educate, and try to prevent these AI data centers from being built across Wisconsin. So I've been up to Port Washington numerous times. I've been to Janesville. I've been to Caledonia. I've been across the state, and I can tell you what's coming for Kenosha if you decide to build this data center. Now, from what I understand, the rezoning for this has already happened. It's far from a done deal, and it can be stopped. There's no development plan in place. It hasn't been brought before you, the Common Council, and I would like to advise you to take, like your residents have advised you today, to take that step back and say, we can put this genie back in the box. And Mayor Badgala, there's actually a really great example from Menominee, where their mayor imposed a temporary moratorium while Balloonist was pursuing headlong with development. It's well within your power to actually stop this data center and for the community to be heard so that the data center actually has to release reliable statistics about water use, about electricity use. We Energies has already proposed a 75-25 split on electricity and natural gas providing and build-outs for those natural gas plants, which means that under that proposal, your residents are going to pay 25% of the cost of what is going to use more energy than all of the houses in the entire state combined. These aren't light facilities we talk about, and I know your responsibility is local development. You're not necessarily thinking about the whole state, but I want to help provide you that perspective. It is a whole state thing, and it's something that you can stand on the right side of history of to stop and actually steward a better future for not only the residents here, but for the rest of your state. I know yours is a relatively smaller proposal. It's not a hyperscale like in Port Washington. What they are afraid of is that facility taking over their entire town. But Kenosha has the benefit of not needing a development like this. Kenosha is a beautiful place with development coming responsibly and reliably from a variety of different sources, not data centers that are going to take, exorbitant amounts of municipal water use, are going to promise the world in terms of jobs but not deliver, like they have done in Port Washington, like they have done in Beaver Dam, and like they will do in Mount Pleasant when we see that facility finished. I also want to address, you might think, we have to pursue net new construction, we need to increase our property tax base, and we need to, appeal to as many possible businesses as we can in order to do that. That's the only way we create growth for our city. That's not necessarily true. And with these data centers, especially in Port Washington and Beaver Dam, we've seen them stacked with TIDs, which I'm sure is likely to come in your development proposal. And I admire, and I implore you to reject such a TID. They span, in the case of Port Washington, for over 20 years. And that's really it defeats the whole purpose of expanding your property tax base for the residents of this city to actually, see property tax burden relieved. It's not likely if they come with a TID, which is what these big companies like, Vantage, OpenAI, Oracle, et cetera, we've seen across the state. When that happens, 20 years plus, we're looking at a lack of property tax. And you might think that's the only way to get it built. These other towns are going to beat us to it. Not necessarily the case. We've seen the AI bubble, as your residents are well informed of and have mentioned, and they're really, really commendable. And I want to, applaud them and to hope that you take what they've said to heed today. They're absolutely right about the lack of jobs and the lack of tax base that have expanded. The lack of tax base that could actually expand here. It's not going to bring
Samantha,
new jobs.
you have 30 seconds.
30 seconds, thank you. It's not going to bring new jobs. It's estimated that data centers, per data center building in Loudoun County, Virginia, it's about 12 employees per building. We're looking at about 20, maybe 100 max new jobs, and a TID that's going to remove any property tax value that your city stands to get. It's not worth it, and it's a detriment to your residents in the short and medium term. And you should really be thinking about their benefit and what you can better do to invite sustainable development that's actually going to employ people and make Kenosha a great place again. Thank you.
Kayla Harbor.
Hi, my name is Kayla Harbor, and I live at 6038 23rd Avenue, Kenosha, Wisconsin, and I speak for Lake Michigan. And I'm here today just to reiterate, this data center is a bad idea that we aren't ready for. Other states are already seeing the negative effects of data centers. Virginia is experiencing higher energy and water costs, as well as environmental impacts which include noise pollution, air pollution, water pollution. Morrow County, Oregon has an Amazon data center that's poisoning the people by returning water with high levels of nitrates back into the environment. These people are reporting rare cancers, miscarriages, and other health problems at a high rate. California is also experiencing higher energy and water costs, as well as the aforementioned pollutions. And this data center isn't worth poisoning the people of Kenosha nor the lake. The brief financial gain isn't worth the long-term cost to lives and the environment. There is only one planet that we can live on, and it has a finite amount of water. To put this into perspective, 0.5% of all water on Earth is freshwater, usable, and accessible. Our Great Lakes hold 21% of that globally. And to emphasize even further how much we ought to protect our lakes, they make up 90% of the United States freshwater. 90%. And we're willing to sacrifice it for what? Money? A concept? Because that's all, at the end of the day, that's all money is. It's a concept. And it's vile if you would trade human lives and the life of the lake for a quick buck. Sooner or later, you'll come to realize that money isn't everything. And I just really fear that it'll be too late by the time that you do, and we, the people, will face the consequences. And because I can't say it enough, I'll say it again. This data center is a bad idea. It's not worth the costs, and it's not worth the risks. Thank you.
Sage Holloway.
Hi, Sage Holloway, 4500 10th Avenue. So again, I'm one of the people who have been here for the third meeting in a row, and thank you for having me, honestly, and listening. I really do feel like you guys are all listening, which is really important. When researching this data center, which I've done a lot of, and trying to compile my thoughts, I came across a headline that really struck me. And this was from Network World. The rush to build AI data centers has become the new Oklahoma land grab. I am not here to give a history lesson. I trust that everyone here would agree that's not a flattering comparison. And you can do your own research if you don't know what that is. I came across a lot of other quotes that I thought were worth sharing, because there are a lot of people on a much greater scale than anyone in this community reporting on this issue, and I might as well go ahead and quote them. By 2030, industry and government projections show data centers could gobble up more than 10% of the nation's power usage. That's reported by the Washington Post. Something to think about. University of Michigan interviewed a psychiatrist, his name is Stephen Taylor, who treats patients with psychosis. He's done this for decades. He's done research on why people suffer delusions, paranoia, hallucinations, detachment from reality, even suicide or other dangerous behavior. Even he is surprised by the rapid rise in reports of people spiraling into psychosis-like symptoms or dying by suicide after using sophisticated artificial intelligence chatbots. So now already, based on these, we have a historical, environmental, and public health concern encapsulated just in these 3 articles. How do Americans feel? According to the Pew Research Center, as of September 2025, overall, Americans are very weary of AI. 50% say they are more concerned than excited about the increased use of AI in daily life, up from 37% in 2021. 10% are more excited than concerned. Okay. 38% say equal or they're not sure. When it comes to local communities, a lot of proponents of data centers cite job growth and tax incentives. I'm not going to try to tell you that those aren't real. I know that they are. But take an example from Loudoun County, Virginia. The proportion of revenue derived from data centers in this county has grown so lopsided that the county's Board of Supervisors is considering adjusting the tax rate so as to not be so reliant on a single source. Now, that might not be super inspirational to like a big group of people who may agree with me, but that's the kind of information that I think a group of people like you who know how to run local government might be a little bit worried about. While we may expect a short-term boost in tax revenue, this proposal does not guarantee a long-term payoff when we consider the lack of diversification when we make this kind of investment. Now we look to Dennis Hazzabis, who's the CEO of Google DeepThink. He says that AI could be humanity's last invention. I'm just gonna let that sink in for a second. Is that what we want? Is that what we're looking forward to? That is a man on the inside saying the quiet part out loud. And yeah, that one was for the people like me, the Gen Z who are here fighting things like this. Tristan Harris, I'll kind of end on this one. He's the co-founder of the Center for Humane Technology. In terms of tech companies for whom he has been employed by, such as Google, he says this: "We are worth more when we are addicted, outraged, polarized, disinformed, and so on, than if we're actually a thriving citizen."
Sage, you have 30 seconds.
Thank you. I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna let this sink in. It's 30 seconds long. "We are worth more when we are addicted, outraged, polarized, disinformed, and so on, than if we are actually a thriving citizen who is critically examining his or her own choices and trying to make do in this world." Harris also said of these tech companies that they are trying to colonize all human interaction. And doesn't that kind of go back to the Oklahoma land grab that I mentioned at the beginning?
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Kara Gerlach.
Evening. Kara Gerlach, 7308 31st Avenue. Just like all our other speakers tonight, I'm here tonight again to voice Kenosha's dissent regarding the construction of the Microsoft AI Data Center. I have attended the past 2 Common Council meetings and provided with you all a lot of statistics that show the negative consequences that this center will have for our community. In summary, and you have the data that shows this to be true, if this happens in the way that it has in the past in Virginia and closer to home in Port Washington and in Beaver Dam, the center will not generate any tax revenue for our community, at least not for 20 years. It won't create a significant amount of jobs like Microsoft claims, but it will result in increased electricity bills for our residents. Despite dozens of people coming up here and voicing their concerns over this past month and providing these facts, and also over 21,000 people signing our petition, it doesn't appear that this is an issue that our local government has spoken on yet. I wanted to give a little more background about myself and let you know that I teach middle school here in Kenosha. I've run a lot of organizations over the last few years that encourage our students not just to be well-read and well-educated, but also to get involved with their community. Mahone's Eco Club, and you might have even seen us in the paper recently, we have had a positive impact on Kenosha because we encourage our kids to get involved with their community, and they want to. They're really smart. They see that we're destroying our planet's precious resources, and they want to help. And something I always tell them to do is to speak up when they think something's wrong. And because I practice what I preach and I see something wrong here, I'm up here again speaking this evening. More and more research that you've heard tonight is coming to light that shows the harmful impacts that these centers have not just on our wallets, but on our planet too. You've seen it, and if you haven't, you should read about it because you guys are the ones we trust to make the right decision for our community. I know our children want a better future for themselves, and I believe that we owe it to them to see that this happens. I'm just one person, but I'm here, I'm trying because I think it's important. I implore you to do your own research, and if you do, I think you'll see what I see too, and just reconsider accepting this proposal like other communities around Wisconsin have. Thank you for your time.
Jacob Hudak.
Jacob Hudak, 3013 29th Street. I come to you guys today with a stark reminder. Corporations are not people. They are not our friends. They do not have a moral compass. They do not know right from wrong. They exist for one purpose and one purpose only, to maximize return on investments from shareholders. In that pursuit, they will lie, cheat, and steal, and not lose a wink of sleep over anyone who gets hurt in the process. Big tech is trying to court this council, making grandiose promises about the environmental impact, electrical usage, and job creation of this data center. Simultaneously, they're spending millions of dollars lobbying politicians to block regulations that would prevent environmental, social, and economic costs from being externalized to the same communities that they're setting up shop in. They are playing both sides for just long enough to get this data center built. After that, we lose any and all recourse, and they can walk back on these promises one by one. We've been Foxconned in the past before, and we will not make the same mistake twice. We reject this data center, and we hope that you will stand alongside us. Thank you.
Please continue.
B, Communications, Petitions, Reports of Departments. B1, Approval of the following applications. A, 16 operators licenses. B1, Special Class B beer and or Special Class B wine license. C1, Taxi Cab Driver. D1, Amusement and Recreation Enterprise Supervisor.
Gentleman from the 10th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to concur with license and permit, correction. Make a motion to approve B1.
Moved and second to approve item B1. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
B2, communication from the city clerk regarding the voluntary surrender of the Class B beer, Class B liquor license of VPC Kenosha Pizza LLC, 7120 Green Bay Road.
Gentleman from the 10th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to receive and file B2.
Moved and second to receive and file item B2. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
C, recommendations from the Committee on Licenses and Permits. C1, applications for new operators licenses. A, Jeffrey McKenzie, 65. B, Stephen Garcia, 30.
Gentleman from the 10th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to concur with recommendation of license and permit on C1 to grant.
Moved and seconded to approve item C1. At this time, open up to a hearing. Anyone here speaking item C1, please come forward, state your name and address. Anyone here to speak? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence, correct, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
C2, application of Zoe Cook for a new operator's license.
Gentleman from the 10th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to concur with recommendation of license and permit to deny based on material police records substantially related to the license activity and false application.
Moved and seconded to concur with the recommendation to deny. At this time, open up to a hearing. Anyone here speaking item C2, please come forward, state your name and address. Anyone here to speak? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence in item C2. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
C3, application of Urban Tales LLC for a commercial kennel license located at 1920 52nd Street with no adverse recommendations from the police department.
Gentleman from the 10th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I make a motion to approve C3 and C4 after being read in any necessary applicant hearings.
C4, application of Ollie Big C6 LLC for a yearly cabaret license located at 2401 60th Street with no adverse recommendations from the police department.
Okay, at this time, open up to a hearing. Anyone here to speak on item C3 or C4, please come forward, state your name and address. Anyone here to speak? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, close the hearing. Motion on the floor is approval of C3 and C4. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
E, ordinances first reading. E1, ordinance by the mayor to amend section 1.06 I3, 1.06L, and 1.27B of the Code of General Ordinances for the City of Kenosha relating to the terms of election officials and the Board of Absentee Ballot Canvassers and the number of election inspectors per polling place.
Gentleman from the 3rd.
Yeah. Move to send E1 through F2 on their way after being read.
F, zoning ordinances first reading. F1, zoning ordinance by the mayor to create subsection 18.02 VVVVV of the zoning ordinance to amend the land use plan map for the city of Kenosha 2035. F2, rezoning ordinance by the city plan commission to rezone the property at 4814 Sheridan Road from B2 Community Business District to RG2 General Residential District.
Okay, motion to send E1 through F2 on their way. Discussion, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
H, zoning ordinances second reading. H1, zoning ordinance by the mayor to create subsection 18.02 UUUUU of the zoning ordinance to amend the land use plan map for the city of Kenosha 2035.
Gentleman from the 3rd.
Yes, thank you. I move to send to approve H1 and H2 after being read.
Is there a second? On your laptops, please.
Pardon?
Can you hit it again? No, hit your.
H2, rezoning ordinance by the mayor to rezone the property at 6017 Sheridan Road from IP Institutional Park District to B2 Community Business District.
Okay, at this time, we'll open up to a public hearing. Anyone here speaking on item H1 or H2, please come forward, state your name and address. Anyone here to speak? Anyone? Please give us your name and address for the record, please.
Michelle Malkmus, 2407 26th Street. I'm the property manager for 324 Properties LLC, and we currently have about a dozen units that we work very closely with the Kenosha Housing to help fill for those that are in need of housing assistance. And we now have this commercial property that we're hoping to have rezoned so that we can continue to grow in Kenosha and now have a commercial property instead of the previous IP zoning area for helping to just make Kenosha what we all love.
Okay. If
Thank
there's
you for-
if there's questions, we'll call you back up.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public on H1 or H2? Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Motion on the floor is approval. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Davenport. Motion carries 16-0. I resolutions. I-1, resolution by the Committee on Finance to levy special charges. A, property maintenance reinspection fees from November 2025 in the total amount of $10,336. Finance recommended to approve 5-0.
Gentleman from the 13th.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to concur with the Finance Committee recommendations on I-1 through I-6 after being read and all necessary hearings.
I-2, resolution by the Finance Committee to approve the 2026 Consolidated Plan, Annual Plan for the Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnerships Programs. Finance recommended to approve 5-0. I-3, resolution by the Finance Committee to amend the City of Kenosha Capital Improvement Program for 2025 by increasing various PK CIP projects in the total amount of $257,139 and decreasing various PK CIP projects in the total amount of $257,139 for a net change of 0. Finance recommended to approve 5-0. I-4, resolution by the Stormwater Utility Committee to authorize the submittal of an application for a Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Service Water Grant. Finance recommended to approve 5-0. I-5, resolution by the mayor to write off certain delinquent personal property tax accounts. Finance recommended to concur with the recommendation of the city attorney, 5-0. I-6, resolution by the mayor authorizing the issuance of tax increment project revenue bond of the city of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Finance recommended to approve 5-0.
Okay, motion on the floor is concurrence on I-1 through I-6. Any discussion? Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. At this time, we'll open up to a hearing on item I-1. Anyone here speaking on item I-1? Anyone here to speak on I-1? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, close the hearing. Now the motion is to concur. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Davenport. Motion carries 16-0. I-7, resolution by the mayor to approve a two-lot certified survey map for property located at 5316 47th Avenue.
Gentleman from the 3rd.
Thank you. I move to approve I-7.
It's been moved and seconded to approve item I-7. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 16-0. I-8, resolution by the Committee on Public Works, preliminary resolution declaring intent to levy assessments for sidewalks and/or driveway approaches for Project 26-1041, 35th Avenue resurfacing.
Gentleman from the 15th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Make a recommendation to concur with the finding of Public Works to approve on I-8.
Moved and seconded to concur with Public Works. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 16 to 0. J, appointments, reappointments by the mayor. J1, election official appointments.
Gentleman from the 13th.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and seconded to approve on item J1. There's not a discussion here, but I do want to point out, and I would ask for an amendment on this. In your backup, with the listing of all of the appointments, there's an individual's name that is spelled incorrectly. It is on your backup as Hall, Hall, and it should be Howe, Howe. And I just want to make sure that that is corrected here. So if I could get a motion to amend for that?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to amend as stated. Anybody have any discussion or questions on that? Okay, on the amendment, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amendment passes, and now we're back to the main items. Be motion to approve as amended, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Move to approve as amended.
Okay. And we had that seconded, correct? Moving and second to approve as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Davenport. Motion carries 16 to 0. K, public construction and improvement contracts. K1, award of contract for project 25-1531 Northside Library, Lintel Windows Repair to Restoration Systems, Inc. in the amount of $95,680.
Gentleman from the 15th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Make a recommendation to concur with Public Works on item K1, K2, K3 after being read.
Second.
K2, award of contract for project 25-1580 Dinosaur Discovery Museum furnace replacement to J&H Heating, Inc. in the amount of $73,450. K3, project 25-1030 16th Avenue resurfacing revised award.
Okay, motion on the floor is concurrence with Public Works. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 16 to 0. L, other contracts and agreements. L1, service agreement by and between City of Kenosha, Wisconsin and Dynamic Life Cycle Innovations, Inc. Finance recommended to approve 5 to 0.
Gentleman from 13th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to concur with the Finance Committee recommendations on items L1 through M1 after being read.
L2, First Amendment to the Master Services and Purchasing Agreement between Axon Enterprises, Inc. and Kenosha Police Department for Axon body-worn cameras. Finance recommended to approve 5 to 0. L3, Amendment to the Professional Services Agreement between the City of Kenosha, Wisconsin and Delano S. Smith. Finance recommended to approve 5 to 0. L4, Agreement between Civic Plus LLC and the City of Kenosha relating to information storage. Finance recommended to approve 5 to 0. L5, agreement between the City of Kenosha, Wisconsin and J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. for deposits of third-party checks. Finance recommended to approve 5 to 0. M, recommendations from the Committee on Finance. M1, disbursement record number 22, $5,163,137.77. Finance recommended to approve 5 to 0.
Okay, motion on the floor is concurrence on L1 through M1. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 16 to 0. N, recommendations from the Committee on Public Works. N1, acceptance of project 24-026 Lincoln Park basketball courts, which has been satisfactorily completed by the Wanasek Group. The final amount of the contract is $381,893.31.
Gentleman from the 15th.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Make a recommendation to concur with Public Works on N1 and N2 after being read.
N2, acceptance of project 25-1575 Fire Station 2 renovations, which has been satisfactorily completed by Stuckey Construction Company. The final amount of the contract is $34,100.
Okay, motion on the floor is concurrence, Public Works. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 16-0. O, recommendations from the Committee on Public Safety and Welfare. O1, request from Emily Shulga for a backyard chicken coop license.
Gentleman from the 5th.
Thank you, Your Honor. Make a motion to approve as recommended by Public Safety and Welfare.
Moved and seconded to concur with public safety. At this time, open up to a public hearing. Anyone here to speak on item O1? Anyone here to speak? Anyone here to speak? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Motion on the floor is concurrence with public safety. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Roll call, please.
Motion carries 13-3.
Okay, mayor's comments. First and foremost, I would like to wish all of you, this will be our last council meeting before holidays, wish you all a very Merry Christmas, happy holidays to all of you. This has been a phenomenal year. Lots that we can all be proud of. Lots of you have worked your tails off, and I appreciate all the hard work that you've all done. It has not always been easy, but it has been very worthwhile as we continue to move the ball forward throughout the city. Thank you to all of the staff who were here, all the department heads. Please pass on, again, all of our appreciations for all their hard work. Again, not have been an easy year, but something, again, I think all of us, I was out and about today and this weekend, a number of different events, and heard from people all over the city being very complimentary. I know sometimes we usually get to hear the complaints, but there are a lot of folks out there who are very happy with the direction that the city's going, the direction that you are all going, the hard work that you all put in, our staff puts in every single day. And I always tell them that it is a team effort, and it truly is. This is not just me. This is not just the council. This is all in the staff. This is everybody working together, singing to the same music sheet. And no, I did not sing it at all this weekend, despite some of the outfits I had on. But it truly is been a fun year, and looking forward to 2026 and beyond. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you, and enjoy time with your families, enjoy time with your friends, and reflect on what a great year 2025 has been. Gentleman from the 3rd.
Thank you, Your Honor. Along with what you just said, I'd like to wish all of our Jewish citizens and friends a happy Hanukkah. We are entered the Hanukkah season. And as far as this being the last council meeting before Christmas, I'd like to say Wesołych Świąt, Joyeux Noël, Fröhliche Weihnachten, Bon Natal, Feliz Navidad. Basically, any way you want to say Merry Christmas, I want to wish everybody that. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no more lights, a motion to adjourn on your laptop would be in order. Moved and second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.